Hello and welcome to another episode of the Royals Review podcast. No game for the Royals over the weekend, so we had to watch Exeter concede 10, Sheffield United concede 4, plenty of other teams conceded lots of goals, but yeah, that game at Exeter was pretty fun. I'm joined as ever by Jimmy and Ramy. I'm your host, Dan, and we're back for another transfer special because, as I say, the Royals had no game. Our next game is on Saturday against Leyton Orient, but since we last spoke, there has been a bit of movement in the market. I mean, Reading haven't really come out with anything concrete, but there are a few names, some which we mentioned in our first transfer episode, some which we didn't. But we're going to have a look at some of those players which have already been suggested by some of them ourselves, some of them other people. So we're just going to go in a little sort of circle, really. We'll start with you, Jim. Who's first on your transfer list here, and give us some stats and data to sort of back up why he might be a good shout for Reading?
Yep, of course. So it's still so hard to tell if these are realistic or not, but I feel like at the moment, just, no one's got any idea on what you can or can't do. So I have looked at Corey Blackett-Taylor, who is a left or right winger. He's slightly out of favour at Derby since returning from injury, but fans still rate him really highly. He's made a few little appearances recently. He played on the weekend in their FA Cup fixture and looked really good, to be fair. So I don't know. After that, I was kind of like, oh, right. So he's shown up in the FA Cup fixture. Is that him definitely going to be staying at Derby now? But yeah, like I said, he's not had too many minutes since he's returned from injury. He's 28 years old. His contract's up in summer 2027, so he's still got a bit of time left there. But when he was last in League One, he was playing for Charlton and then signed in, I think he signed in the January of 2023-24 season for Derby, and he got 8 goals and 7 assists during that campaign. So I guess I was kind of looking at, we need another forward, whether that's going to be a striker or whether it's going to be a winger. We need somewhere where goals are going to pop up, and I feel like Blackett-Taylor is a perfect example of somebody who could sort of come and just hit the ground running straight away. Ramy, I know you mentioned last week that a winger could be a possibility to give Chariwa a bit of a rest because he's currently sort of the only one that's really nailed that position on the right. I know Kelvin makes his appearances, but I just think it would be good to get another winger, either a right-sided winger, left-sided winger. And yeah, I think Blackett-Taylor Taylor sort of ticks that box. Maybe a loan with an option to buy, depending on the situation at Derby, whether they want to keep him or whether they want to move him on. But yeah, that's my first pick of the night.
Very good. Ramy, you're up next, mate.
Cool. Well, since we're keeping it realistic, I'll go with one of the ones we're linked with, Ricardo Santos from Swansea. Currently out of favour. He signed in the summer and has only made 1 appearance since then. To be fair, he's been injured start of the season, but he's recovered from his injury now, but he's looking for an exit, and Swansea just signed Ward. So, yeah, they're clearly facilitating for his exit because they're already bringing in more veteran defenders into the club, and they already have their favoured pairing, and they have some great other backups as well. I think it'll be a great signing, especially as backup for, let's say, Paulie gets injured. You never know with Man City and Finley Burns if they do eventually recall him, or what could happen there. Because if one of their other defenders gets injured, they're going to have to recall some of their players. So, and if Derek Williams is out for a long time, it'll be good to get another senior veteran defender to kind of rotate with Finley Burns there in that role. And he's League One proven. He's done it with Bolton for the last few years. He's been a great asset for them. He helped them push for promotion a few times in the playoffs. Never made it, unfortunately, but he knows what it's like to be playing in those playoff pushes, and he's got the experience. Yeah, he might be a bit injury prone, but that's a risk you take with footballers in general, especially at the age he's at. I think he's 30 years old. So, he's 30. So that's just a risk you have to take. But that also comes with experience. And as Reading are pushing for the playoffs, they need experience. They do have the young players in the squad already. They just need that more, bring in some experience to help get them over the line if they really want to be pushing for it.
Yeah, I think so. I think experience is going to be key if we are to achieve the playoffs. Mixed in with a lot of inexperience as well. But we already have that. So
that's what I mean.
It's good
So
to bring in some.
It'll most likely be a loan more than a transfer. It could be a loan with a buy option because he literally just signed a contract, so he'd be quite expensive to buy outright. So I think it would be a loan option here, potentially with an obligation to buy, depending if we get into the championship or not. I think that would be the way they would look at it. But yeah,
nice. Right, over to me then. I'm going for a player that I did mention last week, and I've prepared loads of stats, and then someone at the Reading Chronicle went and posted an article that covers off every single stat that I was going to reel off. So instead of me sitting here and reading out that article, I suggest anyone who's interested in Ronan Hale, as much as I am, goes to check that out on the Reading Chronicle. But I will still continue to talk about him. And I kind of wanted to address a little bit of commentary that I've seen on social media, which suggests that because he plays in the Scottish Championship, he wouldn't be good enough to play for Reading. I disagree with that, for one, because I think his goal record sort of speaks for itself. And I know currently Ross County are at the bottom of the Scottish Championship, but it just looks like they've had an absolute nightmare. And he's still managed to get amongst the goals in a season where they haven't scored that many because they are literally rock bottom. And I think it's probably better to look at his performances last season, which I think he scored 17 goals for Ross County last season. In the season that, again, they were relegated. So, they're not winning loads of games and smashing teams. I think he just looks quite resilient, and I think he looks like the perfect backup to Marriott. As I said last time, there's already been some interest from Reading, and for us to still have that now, despite the form that Ross County have been in, goes to show how much whoever is in charge of that at the moment thinks of him and rates him. And I know Reading fans are scarred by Mark McNulty, and believe me, I am as well. If that scenario happens again, I'll hold my hands up and I will be gutted. But yeah, I don't think we should then assume that any player coming from Scotland isn't going to be able to do it, because I think Ronan Hale looks like he will be able to. He's done it in the Scottish Premiership, as I just said, last season, and I think that correlates probably quite nicely to League One. I think also we're looking at Ronan Hale, this is my take anyway, as a backup or someone who can contribute but is not going to come in and replace Jack Marriott, unless of course he gets injured, which a player of his age is some sort of is likely to an extent, I suppose. But yeah, I just think he's going to be quite similar to Jack Marriott. He'll be able to come on when Marriott's tired and contribute some goals, and I think that's exactly what we need. So yeah, I'm bringing up Hale again because I think we should go for him if the price is right, because I think he'll slot right in.
I agree. Yeah. Good job,
Jimmy.
Definitely. Also, just on that,
Go on.
I don't get where everyone's getting McNulty and the Scotland links, because we got him from Coventry, who were in League Two at the time, and before that he was playing at Sheffield United, who were in League One at the time, and he did it at this level. So when I was seeing people comparing him to McNulty and sort of before his time at Reading, I was thinking, I'd take that. That's League Two tops. We signed him as League Two top goal scorer. There's probably people that are wanting to get League Two top goal scorer at the moment. So don't know where people are getting that from. He went on to Scotland afterwards, didn't he? But
I think he went to Hibs maybe.
It was Hibs, yeah.
And also, whenever I think of Reading buying someone from Scotland, the one and only person that springs to my mind is Noel Hunt, who, regardless of what people think of his contribution to the club in the last couple of years, in my mind is a Reading legend, and I absolutely loved watching him play for Reading. He was class, and he was smashing it up for Dundee United in the SPL. I remember because my granddad supports Dundee United, and I remember watching Noel Hunt then, and then obviously came to Reading and was class. So yeah, don't be too afraid. I think the SPL, if it's even still called that, will correlate quite nicely to League One. So I think we can be positive about that one if it does happen.
Agreed.
Sure.
Jimmy, I've got your next one written down. I'm very surprised at it, but go on.
Are you now?
Okay.
It's Mark Harris from Oxford
Mm.
United. Yeah, I don't know whether they'd want to do any business with us or we'd want to do business with them. It's a different story. But at the end of the day, it's a player that was previously linked with Reading. I think we ended up getting Sam Smith, which I'm not complaining about one bit. But he's struggling for minutes this season at Oxford. He's proven in this league. He scored 6 goals in the Championship last season, but prior to that, he hit 15 goals, got 4 assists in Oxford's League One promotion season. So, I mean, to me, he's more than proven. He's in his prime, 27 years old. Contract's up in the summer. Is on transfer market. It says his market value is about 800k. But I mean, if his contract's up in the summer, they're probably going to just want to move him on, get rid of the wages. So, you know, you get him on loan with an obligation to buy or a permanent transfer, probably for a couple of 100k, I imagine. But I guess your boy Ronan Hale sort of fits into that category quite nicely as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I think Mark Harris, if you're looking for a player that's proven at this level, he'd be my go-to.
Yeah, I agree. I think he clearly is proven at this level. I'm just slightly concerned that in the last 2 episodes that you've been on, you've suggested we buy from Swindon and Oxford. I don't know where you've been, but yeah, I'm steering clear of those 2 teams. Ramy, second one.
Mate, their loss is our gain. Their loss is our
Yeah,
gain
true.
with those 2 players. So.
Very true.
So I'm gonna go with another one that I mentioned last week and just go a bit more in depth. So Idris Odutayo, the left back from Bromley. I'm going to continue like singing his praises. He's such a sensational left back in League Two. He's partly the reason they're doing so well at the moment. I think they're top of the table. They've just been flying ever since they've started the season, really. And he's very much the reason why. Like just a quick glance at his stats, he's up there in the 90th percentile with everything to do with defending. 129 duels won. He wins half of his duels. He wins. He's not great in the air, but he's great at like fighting on his feet. Up there with all the interceptions, 16 in total, 90 recoveries, which is insane for a fullback. It's mainly the midfielders doing all the recoveries. So the fact that he's doing that is great within itself. And one thing that I've understood from my conversations with people within the club, around the club, that sort of thing. They're looking at League Two players at the moment, and they're looking at loans, especially from the Championship and League Two mainly. So it makes sense for them to look at the left back position and specifically Odutayo, because he's still young, 23. They could potentially get him in for a good fee. He wouldn't be too expensive. I think he's in his last year of his contract. And he came through the Fulham Academy, so he's a proper baller from London. But yeah, no, it'd be good to see a young fullback there. Obviously, we know we have Dorset, but Dorset's very much a fullback, whereas Odutayo can play as a wing back, which I think Richardson would prefer to play because that's what he does with Yiadom. It's kind of like at the moment, Reading have a really weird shape where it works for the most part, but because Dorset can't make those runs in behind and get the ball forward, he uses kind of like an invert. It's really odd. I don't know if you've seen it, but like, it's really odd where Finley Burns is now further forward, Dorset comes back, and then Yiadom is basically on the wing completely. So it's a lopsided like team. So I think bringing in somebody that is more like prolific as a wing back would make sense, and I think it just would be a great addition to the Reading squad.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think you can go too far wrong with pretty much anyone from Bromley at the moment.
Yeah.
They're absolutely tearing it up in League Two. So yeah, great shout. My next one is actually one that was suggested. I've forgotten the guy's name. I'm really sorry if you're listening, but suggested on X after I put out a post asking people to suggest players. And this guy is called Milinic.
Milinic, I think it's Milinic.
Ali. Milanic Ali. He currently plays for Luton. He's 25 years old. He's Irish. At a quick glance, it looks like he's slightly out of favour for Luton. He's been playing, but just not getting loads of minutes, kind of some 60s, 20s. He's played just over 1,000 minutes in League One this season and scored 1 goal, 2 assists. He looks all right. Like, he looks fine. Reading obviously have a very good track record of signing Irish strikers, so I'm in for that alone. I imagine him and Porty will get on very, very well. But yeah, you look at this season, as I say, he's slightly out of favour. But if you cast your minds back a little bit to his time at Exeter, there's a lot more to like there. Last season in League One, he scored 9 goals from 19 starts, whilst also scoring in the EFL Cup, 1-from-1. As you can tell, I'm reading this straight off of WhoScored.com because I don't know too much about this player, I'll be perfectly honest, and I'm looking purely because it was suggested. But the thing that stands out to me most about Milanic Ali is that this season he's been deployed in so many different positions. Like, first and foremost, he looks to be a forward, but he has played left midfield, attacking centre midfield, attacking left midfield, defensive midfield on the left, defensive midfield on the right, attacking midfield on the right, and a striker. So if we're looking to bring in, as I've already suggested on this episode, a sort of backup for Marriott, he looks perfect because he can also fill in any other gaps if there's any injuries or players get tired or whatever else. So could be a good option. Jim, third and final one.
Extremely versatile by the sounds of it. The only thing that I have with that transfer is, would it be a bit of a sideways step for him if he's getting like limited game time at Luton? He's probably like, I don't think whatever striker we bring in, we were chatting about this earlier, Ramy, weren't we? I don't think it's going to be somebody that's just going to replace Marriott. Like, Marriott is probably the first name on the team sheet, and why wouldn't he be? He's been fantastic. Which is why I think Ronan Hell kind of does tick that box. Like, it's a step up for him. It's probably too big of a step up to completely replace Marriott. But it's like, his profile, his experience, it kind of fits someone that you would have as like your second option as a striker, as a backup to Marriott. That's the only thing I would say about that transfer. But I mean, like you said, he's more than proven in this league, so we'll see what happens there. Right, moving on to my third and final one then. I've gone for a defender this time. Ryan Nyambe from Derby again. 28 years old, plays as a right back. He doesn't look to consistently be part of Derby's plans this season. He was previously at Wigan when Richardson was their caretaker manager, so the relationship may be there already. And he's got plenty of EFL experience, with most of his appearances being in the Championship. His contract's up in 2027, but like I said, he seems to be pretty out of favour. I was having a little scan through X over the weekend for their FA Cup fixtures and seeing if any of these players would be included in the squads there. And I think I saw somebody tweet, like, if Nyambe isn't in this squad, it's pretty clear that he has no future at Derby. And lo and behold, he wasn't in the squad, or at least I don't think he was. I'm pretty sure he wasn't in the squad. He didn't start anyway. So, yeah, it looks like Derby are likely to want to sort of move him on and free up space for incomings and saving on some of the wages. His market value is quite high on Transfer Market, 900k. So, like, we're never going to pay that. But, if this is a player that's costing Derby, they probably just want to get rid of him. So, who knows what sort of deal you could work out there. But yeah, I think, with the link to Wigan and Richardson being there, I'd be surprised if it's not a player that has sort of crossed their mind.
Yeah, fair enough. We've mentioned that before, haven't we? That half a chance that anyone we get in will probably have some sort of working relationship with Richardson. So, yeah, sounds like a good option. Ramy?
I kind of don't want to talk about this guy now, but we're going to have to. So,
yes.
Yeah, so my third one is Ben Ward. As by the time you're listening to this, obviously, Wigan have reportedly put a bid in for him, a six-figure sum. Hasn't been reported the amount exactly, but yeah, it'll be pretty high up there. He's very sought after across League One, from Bradford to Reading to Wigan, clearly. But yeah, he's a very versatile defender. He can play as a centre back or a full back as well. And I think he could play the wing back role as well, which would be very much the reason Reading were going in for him. There's also the connection between Liam Richardson and Accrington Stanley, because he used to be a player there and he was a manager there to start off his managerial career. So he clearly has some people that he knows that he could speak to potentially about how well the player's doing and keep an eye on him without having to actually send scouts or anything. Because but from what I understand, Reading did send scouts to watch him a few times. He's former Burnley man. He went through the academy there. He never made it to the senior team, but went through the academy and then joined Accrington Stanley. But yeah, not sure it's going to happen now. I think Wigan have shown that they're more interested by submitting an official bid for him. But if we do go for him, I think he'd be a very, very good addition to the team. As I said, he could either rotate with the centre halves or rotate with Dorset or Yiadom or Abrefo, whoever he needs to rotate with, really, because he's very defensively sound, really tall, wins all his aerial duels. I think that's one of his main characteristics. He's really good at that, but he's also really good at creating chances, which is really weird, like odd for a centre half. His passing ability is really high up there, kind of similar to Lewis Wing. He's putting those numbers in League Two at least, but if he can make the step up to League One and then give a similar output, he's got a really good career ahead of him. So yeah, he's linked with us, but it looks like Wigan's winning that race. So
yeah, fair enough. Six-figure sum is kind of a bit rich for our blood at the moment, I think. My final selection, I actually really like this, and this only came on my radar this week, and it was because Huddersfield manager Lee Grant has sort of suggested that this player, Joe Taylor, could be on the way out of Huddersfield. He's not played very many games. He's made 5 starts this year. One of them was against us in that 2-0 win at the start of the season, which I thought was really good. Like, he led the line for Huddersfield and caused us quite a lot of issues. I know people are bored of me saying this, but bringing him up again, I think he's a very similar player to Sam Smith. Like, the way that he plays on the last man, he's a bit of a nuisance, but he's quick on the turn and he can get shot away. He's scored 4 goals in League One already this season. As I say, he's only made 5 starts, played 630 minutes. So I wouldn't say that's a terrible return. But looking at his history, last season was a little bit all over the place because he was at Luton and wasn't playing at all in the Championship, and then went to Huddersfield at the back end and played a little bit. But the season before that, when he was at Lincoln in League One, he made 19 appearances, scored 10 goals and 3 assists. So again, obviously this is the same league that we're currently operating in. So he has proven that he can do it. And I think he's probably quite desperate, given the current situation, to get to a club where he can get some minutes. Now, I guess that's the sticking point, is whether or not we are that club where he can come and get minutes, because as we've already discussed with half of these, they're probably not coming in to replace Marriott. But I don't know. I think he looks a good option if he was keen. As I say, he's proven that he can do it. And if he's looking to come and maybe get a bit of love, I'm sure we can offer him that. So Joe Taylor was my third and final shout.
His numbers are insane. If you look at the per 90 stats, they're up there.
Yeah,
they're really, really good.
Yeah, he looks solid. And it's another one of those players where he looks like he'll go to another League One club, right? Like he's got all of the attributes. He's just not in favour at the moment, because Huddersfield have loads of great players. But the reason I'm saying that is because I would feel a little bit like if he goes to another team and we come up against him, I'm going to be like, oh, sugar, like that's a good player that we've got to defend against. So, I'd be keen for him to come along. I have absolutely no idea how much he would cost. I imagine it would be a loan. But
he's been there 2 seasons now, so might be the end of his contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look now. It says market value is 500k. I can't see how long. His contract goes on till
Contracts.
2029.
But why they give him a long
Hard-
contract? Fair play.
Huddersfield taking the Chelsea approach with their players,
Yeah.
clearly.
Amortization.
So yeah,
They
maybe.
they paid £3 million for him.
Are you?
Wow.
And he's out of favour now. That is,
Yeah. Oh yeah, 3.3 million. Jeez.
clearly
that's
they
tough.
see something.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can get him on loan for the rest of the season. But we'll
I
see.
can see it happening already, and we get to the player final against Huddersfield, and he's not allowed to play. So
He's not allowed to play. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's why we
all right.
got Jack Marriott. That's why we have Jack Marriott, man.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Exactly. Right, I think that's pretty much it for today. There's a couple questions on X, Ramy. They're largely directed at you.
Okay.
I don't know if you can answer them or not, and please feel
Okay.
free to just say no. But the first one is, how long do you think it will be before Reading announce a player or even make sort of a concrete sign that they're in for someone?
I don't think. Yeah, I think a few people will be surprised how long it worked. Like, yeah, they're expecting Reading to. A lot of fans are expecting Reading to just first day. Here we go. Signed 5 players of the first week. That type of thing. These things take time, and I think that's something that's been reiterated. They've probably and most likely had players come to be able to check out the facilities and all of this stuff. The legal side of things takes time, and to make sure that the wages are correct, all of this stuff are correct, it does take a while. And I think that's just with any signing with any club. So yeah, the fact that they're not being quick is not a bad thing. It's actually a sign of a good thing that they're being very meticulous and making sure that they're getting the right profile, the right type of player in, and the one that will fit Richardson's system. Because once you sign a player, you sign a player. So there's no going back. Like, you're stuck with them for the rest of the season or longer, depending on how long the contract is. So they have to be really thorough, and I respect the fact that they're taking their time with it. Unless they knew beforehand what player they wanted to buy, and then they were just like, okay, we're going to get him day one, then that's a different story. But I think Richardson came in very late, as in beginning of November, end of October. He hasn't had that much time to really understand the squad that he has in front of him. He's taken all these league games, which again he hasn't had that many league games. I think it's what, is he on 8 now? 8, 9?
Yeah, 9, I think.
Which is not enough to really. It is enough to understand your squad, but I don't think to the depth he would like to. But he's already started to feel the weaknesses that you wouldn't have had a list straight away. So these things will take time.
Yeah,
but I would say before the end of the month, definitely.
Yeah, good. Well, that's music to everyone's ears, I'm sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying, in the sense that I'd much rather take time and sign the right player than rush it and end up with someone like who we just don't want in like 3 weeks' time. Jim, I've got a question for you, so you don't feel too left out. If you could sign right now one Reading player over the years in their prime to join this team, who are you going for?
I think I said it last week. Nibsy boy, for sure. I think he would just fit in perfectly. Pops up with the goals, dominates the midfield. What more do you want? Yeah. I think it'd have to be him. How about you? So you don't feel left out. Who would you pick?
Well, I was kind of hoping you might go a little bit further back than just last season's best player, but that's fine. I think I've been obsessed with strikers. Like, I think in the 2 episodes we've done of this, I've only spoken about strikers, so I'm probably going to stick there. I'd probably go for an Adam Lafondra or a Kevin Doyle. I mean, like, we've got a plethora of legendary strikers, but I'd maybe go for Adam Lafondra purely because, as I've said 1 million times now on this episode, we're not looking for a striker to come in and replace Mario. I think he's probably the best substitute we've ever had. And that season in the Prem where he just came on and scored like every time. I think he's got the second best minutes per goal in Premier League history, only beaten now by Erling Haaland. So yeah, I'd probably go for Adam Lafondra off the top of my head.
Yeah, super sub. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. That brings us to a close then. We're just encroaching on 30-minute mark. I wanted to take a quick opportunity to thank everyone that's watched these episodes so far. It's been great fun from my point of view to chat with these guys. But it looks from the numbers that people are enjoying it from home. So thank you very much for that. Your support is very appreciated.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. If you think it's great, we'd love to hear from you. If you think it's not great, don't waste your time, but you can message me separately if you like. But yeah, plenty more content coming up. So yeah, keep your eyes on our socials. We've actually managed to get back our YouTube account this week, so we'll be posting video content too, which I'm sure is great for some people. But we will still be live on Spotify and Apple and Amazon Music and everywhere else. So yeah, we'll be back to talk about Leyton Orient at the weekend. I'm sure. I can't wait for it. But until then, thanks very much, guys, and cheers to Jimmy and Ramy for joining me once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.